Great news this afternoon as we now know that Steve Mnuchin has expanded and increased his FPUC offer in the recent deal that he proposed to the Temple Doom, the one that she rejected. But in this video, McConnell versus Trump, new indication that Senate Republicans reached out to the White House and said, stop it. We're not going to this insane number of 1.8. We're not going higher than 1.8, and we're not even going anywhere near 1.8. So what will happen? This is McConnell versus Trump. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Afternoons LALATE with a special broadcast of McConnell versus Trump in this video about unemployment assistance, which I will be going over big developments about FPUC in the latest deal offer from Steve Mnuchin revealed from NBC News. Go to the Finish channel, subscribe because there's really a lot of twists and turns coming out today. I thought it was going to be a slow day, and suddenly the stuff hit the fan. If you've not subscribed publicly, make sure you do so. To ensure you're publicly subscribed, go to the pinned comment of this video and it has a link to ensure that I see that you're a subscriber. Also hit the alert button. That way when a new video goes live in a 4-hour programming block of programs per day, you won't miss a video, and you shouldn't because there's always something happening. Also like this video. All right, let's get to what's coming up in this video today. I will be going over the latest developments on the deal offer of FPUC. Big deal, big details. Then I'll be going over McConnell versus Trump. New reports surface continuous today, updating yesterday's report of where these Republicans are coming from and how they're threatening the White House upon stimulus checks. Boy, it's getting very nasty. So that will be McConnell versus Trump. Third, I will be going over where Mitch could be hurting Biden in this equation. And finally, I will be going over what the Senate will look like if Biden wins for your stimulus checks. All right, let me get to the incredible details. The breaking news as we have today is a brand new NBC News report, which I absolutely adored. It's the first one in upwards of almost, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, that we have some numbers from Steve Mnuchin's side. And I believe that Steve Mnuchin probably leaked this story because it's so well defined and it's so clear, it doesn't look like anyone but someone at Treasury would have leaked it. The numbers detail all the line items, and if you didn't miscatch them, watch the video right before this. I go through each of the numbers, but in this video, I'm going to go over unemployment assistance. Unemployment assistance, FPUC, would be offered. Where's the number? The same number Steve Mnuchin has had since July, $400 a week, no change. But there is a change on the scope of weeks. His current offer is going all the way into the 3rd week of January and retroactive to September 12th. All right, let me explain to you what that means. We've never heard from Steve Mnuchin really where his retroactive date was. We always presumed it was retroactive to the last week of FPUC 1.0, which is late July. It's unclear what happened thereafter. The most recent offer for the Temple Doom did retroactive FPUC, again, not to the last week of July, but to September 5th. Most of the negotiations and most of the bills up until recent days always said that FPUC would end December 31st. Well, what's great news here is that Mnuchin's going further forward. So his offer is FPUC September 12th retroactive to the 3rd week of January. So you're losing an extra week with him compared to the Temple Doom, but you're gaining more weeks with him on the back end. Let me explain what that means. Neither of these people are retroactive to where they should be. They should be retroactive to the last week of July when FPUC 1.0 expired. But she's retroactive to September 5th. He's retroactive to a week later. So you're losing a week on the front end and the back end with him. He starts retroactive September 12th. She starts retroactive September 5th. On the front end, over in the future, he'll carry you further into the third week of January. What's my opinion? My opinion is I don't like that, because everyone knows the big period of unemployment was July. A lot of jobs came off of lockdown. A lot of restaurants figured out how to do outside dining by August and September. A lot of retail started to reopen in October. And to say, oh, I'll give you more stimulus in January, I'll give you more unemployment assistance in January. Well, wait a second. I got my job back in September, and now I'm okay. I needed the money back in July, and now you're cutting out the money when I really needed it and when I did qualify? Make it even simpler. More people would likely qualify for enhanced unemployment benefits in July and August than potentially in January, presuming no change in the virus. Basically, you want to get the money on the come. You don't want to get the money on the back end hoping that you're still on lockdown 5 months from now. I'm not, it's a progress, but it's not particularly a progress that I'm content with. All right, let me turn to Mitch versus Trump. Well, CNN took Larry Kudlow to the mat today by basically asking Larry Kudlow to comment on all those articles which I went over with you just 24 hours earlier. And those articles basically said that somewhere between Friday and Saturday, a bunch of Republicans called the White House and said, oh no, Mr. President, I want to speak to Mark Meadows, you, and Steve Mnuchin, and we're telling you very clearly, don't go above 1.8. We won't authorize it. We won't vote for it. In fact, we're not voting for 1.8. In fact, we may not vote for anything over 1.5. Now, this is not a surprise. I've been telling you this for weeks. Chuck Grassley said it on the record. He said, you know, there's a couple of Republicans who won't pay you a penny. They don't want to give you a zero for stimulus checks. Then there's some Republicans that might give you a 1 or 1.5, and they'll be kicking and screaming to give you 1.5. But if you go above 1.5, you'll be losing party members. They thought that Nancy Pelosi was trying to cause infighting among Republicans, cannibalize the party, and cause them to argue how high, how low to go on the stimulus package by ultimately causing a distraction on something she was never going to agree to, so that they would focus on a number going left and right and ultimately take their action and focus away from something else, and that something else is the Supreme Court nominee. Now, that was what the reporting said on Friday, but apparently the situation is far worse. What I detailed on Friday and Saturday was that there was a lot of Republicans who called the White House, spoke to Meadows, spoke to Mnuchin, spoke to Trump, and said, stop it. We're not agreeing to 1.8 trillion. We're not agreeing to anything above 1.8 trillion, and we may not even agree to 1.5. Well, apparently those reports are so widely reported that Larry Kudlow was asked about them by CNN this morning. And it shows that the infighting is really not is not McConnell versus Trump. It's really the people in McConnell's room, the Senate, versus Trump. When asked about this, Kudlow evaded the question, said Republicans in the Senate have put up their own bill a few weeks ago, and it got 53 votes. So I think it was very united. I think they have an agreement that could be reached. We would go along with it. CNN responded back. Jake Tapper said, you're not answering my question, Larry. Well, I'm not talking about your Democratic friends. I'm talking about the 20 Senate Republicans who were mad at Senator Steve Mnuchin and saying the proposal of $1.8 trillion was too much. Kudlow's response was, well, I think we can get it done. I think if we can get this thing settled on the Democrat side, we will get it settled on the Republican side. We'll see, but we need to negotiate more. Well, this is not the first time we've heard about those 20 Senate Republicans that don't want to give anything and anyone. It's been broadcast on this channel for upwards of 2 weeks. It's been covered on CNBC. In fact, they refer to it as those 20 Senate Republicans. Well, who are they? A new report today says that Mitch McConnell's group is fostering 20 Republicans whose names are the following. You ready? Get your pen. They're on your Christmas wish list. aka your Twitter purple power um, communication list. Senator Lamar Alexander, Republican out of Texas. That's Lamar Alexander. John Barrasso, Barrasso, Republican out of Wyoming. Marsha Blackburn, Republican out of Tennessee, and Senator Mike Lee, Republican out of Utah. Mike Lee, Marsha Blackburn, Senator John Barrasso, and Lamar Alexander are reportedly among the 20 Republican senators who don't want to give you a penny, and reportedly among the people who got on the phone to call Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows and the White House on Friday and said, stop it. Well, someone was on the phone and leaked all the alleged communications to press. Again, these are not direct quotes. These are source data quotes. Reportedly, Lamar Alexander said to the White House, there's no appetite right now to spend your White House number, or the House or Nancy Pelosi's number. John Barrasso said, this is an enormous betrayal of our party to the White House. And then Marsha Blackburn says, you give this to Nancy, it would be a deal, Neil, for the majority that Pelosi wants to win. Deal, Neil. Deal, Neil. Boy, that's a tongue twister. It means your Neil's going to the floor like you're proposing. You're giving up. Boy. So as we sit here today, McConnell versus Trump, it's very clear and it's very apparent. The question is, how about Biden? Well, a new report today also said that McConnell could be setting up Biden to really have a doozy. And the doozy is the following. It impacts you because it impacts your stimulus. If Trump loses and the Senate remains Republican and Mitch McConnell is still in office, well, let me back up. Let me make this even more simpler. If Trump loses and the Senate goes Democrat, guess what happens between November and December? Everyone's still there. Everyone who just lost is still there. They don't leave until January. So do you think those people who didn't want to give you any money, those 20 Republicans who didn't want to give you any money, who were kicked out of office, potentially in an election in November, who are being still led by McConnell all the way until January when a new person comes in, do you think they're going to give you stimulus? Oh, hell no. Hell no. Now, let's say come January, what happens then? Well, you'd have to wait for the new Democratic-led Senate to pass it under Biden, and it could take upwards of a month, 2 months, or 3 months to get your stimulus. So it's not like you're going to see stimulus January 1 if Biden wins and the Democrats take the Senate. It could take 2 to 3 months. It doesn't move fast. Here's the next issue. Let's say that McConnell watches Trump lose, but the Republicans retain the Senate. Oh my God. Well, would McConnell pass relief before Biden comes into office in January? He might have to, because Biden may veto anything that Mitch tries to do now after the election and January. It's just a hot mess express. You can see that the twists and turns are just all over the place. But you had some incredible comments from yesterday, and what I'm glad you're seeing is that there's a lot of possibilities here, and all these possibilities don't make stimulus relief easy, except executive order. Mary Schultz, nothing is going to get done without an executive order. President Trump, get it done. Amy, Mitch definitely ain't helping Trump win the presidency. King Cap, they don't care about us. Ron M, suggestion, get a petition started to suspend pay for all members. I don't have to. There's actually a bill. There's actually a bill written by representatives to suspend pay of senators and and House members until stimulus is paid. Stephen, Wiley, off the path exploration. They had 5 months to get a deal, vote them all out. JP, we won't have to worry about this once the elections are announced because either way, it's going to be complete mayhem. Archie, President Trump needs to sign the executive orders. Sheila, it sounds like the president is a do or die situation for me. It is. Jerry, McConnell's losing the Senate over not helping the American people. See you, Mitch, moving on out. Let me make something clear to you. Mitch, by all accounts, is going to get reelected. I didn't make this clear in this video. or yesterday, so I'm going to make this clear. Mitch McConnell has to be reelected as a senator, just as a senator. He's going to win that reelection because he's way ahead in the polls. Yeah, believe it or not. Now, if he's reelected, but the Senate loses seats and loses, I think it's 3 seats, then the Senate becomes Democratic-led. Mitch McConnell will no longer be majority leader of the Senate. It's just that's how it works. Lyndon Newton. Mitch and his Republicans are worried about getting lazy people, about people being lazy between vacations and his COVID emergency. Look at the Senate. Those are the ones that are needing the handouts. Mamie, I don't know why Trump is relying on Mitch when Nancy's never going to give anything. Cindy, McConnell needs to be voted out. Well, he's not. He's going to get reelected, but he may lose his House, his majority position. Monica, these people are playing games. Rosa, why doesn't Trump give an executive order? Barbara, Mitch McConnell needs to be voted out. Kelly, okay, Mitch, you're out too. I say let's put McConnell, Pelosi, and all others out in a tent city without their finances. Lorena, this is just ridiculous. Yolanda, it's wishy-washy government. James, Trump, you should be ashamed of yourself. How can you sit back and not do anything? Just get it done. Crazy Daisies, the city I live in has mostly rich people. Nobody likes Mitch, and I don't know who in the hell is voting for him, but I'm betting it's all those rich bastards that vote Republican no matter what. My mom is homeless and refuses to vote for anyone but Republicans because she thinks the Democrats would have more control of our lives than they get the chance. She says there's no other Republicans to choose from, and that there's nobody to choose, and that nobody's going to vote for Amy McGrath. Interesting. Mitch is going crazy as Pelosi, says Linda. Wanda, why is Trump not doing executive order? Michelle, Trump needs to step in. Carol, I'm not voting for Trump if he doesn't get executive order. Soledad, Trump, you're the president of the United States. Stop letting others dictate what you should do. Do the executive order and help the American people. We're all depending on you to help me. Just do it and get it over with. I love that to end on. Boy, if there was a day to subscribe, it's today. Go to the Friends channel, subscribe. It's subscribe because I am really staying with you and you're staying with me. We got to get through this together. Also, like this video. Coming up next is Pelosi versus Mnuchin, the video you need to watch because, boy, there's a lot of twists and turns. I'll be going over more about those numbers. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with LA for more.